Matt from MTNGear here to introduce our new MTNGear Stick 4.1. As the name suggests, this is a slight revision on the 4.0. The majority of it is pretty similar with a few small changes. So I'm going to run through the features of the stick now and highlight some of the differences from the 4.0 for those of you who are familiar with that one. Now, I am in the mountains hunting myself at the northern end of the South Island, New Zealand. We've had a lot of pretty average weather lately, so hopefully the lighting's fine and we don't get too much rain on the camera lens. I've got the snow shovel over the top of it to try and stop that. So I'll start at the top. You'll see probably the first thing, got laser engraving. Doing away with the sticker this time. I think it's a nice touch. One of the main features being the Picatinny slot, that's still there, exactly the same as last time, and great for using as a shooting stick or to drop your camera in there to give you a little bit more stabilization, allow a slightly slower shutter speed at low light, that sort of thing. Also in here we've got a breather hole. That's a new feature of the 4.0. Some of you will have noticed when you extended it previously there was kind of a bit of a suction internally for a bit. The ear would go up through here. With that breather hole, that's no longer, won't try and suck back in as you pull it out. Next feature comes with a sling, leash, just the same. You can attach this in a few different ways. The pick is, you'll notice, for those of you familiar, quite a bit different. Kind of realised I was leaving a few things on the table here with this. Is at a gas station one day, and some of you might have seen those little sort of like credit card sized utility tool things. So that's where this idea came from. Got a bunch of hex sizes options here so you can tighten bolts, whatever. Some holes, I don't really know what you could use those for, but they're there. Bit more of an aggressive hook at the end here. This is quite handy for, say, hooking some thin rope, line, that sort of thing, and also now works as a beer bottle opener, which was a massive oversight previously. We've made this first tooth a little bit longer. A lot of the feedback we're getting is people love using this for like hooking around trees and steep terrain, pulling themselves up, that sort of thing. So made that a little bit more accentuated. Otherwise, everything else is essentially the same. Hole for the sling, little kind of grips across the top, got the pick part, the axe at this end, and then there's one more key feature with this, but we'll come back to it at the end. Locking nut, essentially the same from the outside. We have made a few minor changes to the internal parts, just to increase the locking friction and force that applies, and so just slightly increase the weight that you can push down on the stick before that would slide. Next one is the foot, essentially the same. We've just refined the dimensions here a little bit, and as per last time, comes with snow basket, high quality snow basket made by a European trekking pole manufacturer. So it goes on just the same. The only difference is now you can get this off without essentially having to cut it off. Still not super easy, but yeah, just like that. And of course these can be replaced at any outdoor shop. And so the lip here is just a little bit smaller, so it holds that firmly. You might find after a few years this might wear and it might not hold the snow basket so well. It would only wear like that without the snow basket on it, but like any trekking pole, you can get a replacement tip for that from us if that's ever an issue. And now the kind of final part, the main difference between the previous version is how this pick attaches. and that kind of comes in. This version also comes with the saw blade, just like this. It's a saber saw blade. Comes with this box as well, help protect anything in your pack, because obviously these are quite sharp. Saber saw blade that you can replace from any hardware store essentially. If it gets bent or goes blunt, maybe you have a personal preference, you want something slightly different, and you just have to reinstall a new one into these two little fittings we've made. So previously, and it also comes with an Allen key, and the pick and the axe part are in a bag in the box. When it ships to you, you have to install them. And then what I do is I take the Allen key that's in there, stick it back in the bag, roll that up and put it in the little plastic box with the saw. So because you will need this Allen key if you want to use the saw. So previously these had 2 bolts, you had to remove both of them to install the saw. We got some great customer feedback saying that's a little bit of a problem in the snow, and thought about that for a while, and yep, came up with a slightly different solution. So the top one is still a bolt that only needs to just be loosened this time, and then the bottom one is, if you push the same side as you undo the bolt, push through, that is a captured pin. So you'll see that pin sticking out there, and then that allows you to go up and just out. And so you can see previously there was 2 holes just like that, now there's a hole and a slot. And so to install the saw blade, go in, down, push that in with the Allen key, just tighten the head. So much quicker, simpler, almost no risk of losing these parts, whereas that was a possibility before. If you're in sort of rocks or snow, those 2 bolts, they had to come out. That was a risk losing them. So yeah, that's the main difference really with this version of the stick, and we think for those of you who are likely to use a saw blade, it's quite an improvement. And because of that, we had been working on snow shovel attachments for these sticks for a few years, and they kind of got sidelined because we weren't totally happy with how they connected. We were connecting them at this end, but this really opens that up. So I'll run through that now. We've got a prototype here with us, and again, just like that, super quick. So here's the shovel, it's protecting the lens, might get a bit of rain on it now, but same as the others, on, down like that, push that detent pin through, and then just tighten up that bolt. So just like that, snow shovel, this is carbon fibre, this is sort of our latest prototype. We're still working on a few things just to around how these fittings attach, just making sure we're happy with the strength and use and I guess function. They've got a few sharp bits, so we'll refine that, and just how you'd attach this to the pack. Possibly we might make a little bag that it goes in, and that has some straps or some webbing for some straps to go through, or maybe just a couple of slots in the side where you can put the webbing through. But yeah, that'll be coming soon. But that's the overview of the new Stick 4.1. Anything I missed, any questions, flick us a message, and thank you for watching. Cheers.